Okay, hello. This video is the beginning of my journey, and the journey that I'm about to challenge myself to is to do videos for 365. And I got this idea, or I'm doing the same journey, or I'm doing the same challenge in a closed group that I belong to. So, welcome to my challenge. And what we do is that we answer question of the day. And every day we come and we show up and we're given a question of the day and we respond by video. So this is my question of the day, or this is the question of the day that I'm responding to. The question of the day is, whatever happened to imagination? So I've already responded to the question of the day in the closed group, and I wasn't able to share it, so now I have to do two videos for my question of the day. And unfortunately, I just don't repeat the same thing that I said before. So my response to the question of the day of what happened to imagination, and I'll say this, my daughter is looking at me, and she's supposed to be doing her assignment.
Don't read this part because I want you
No.
to read the part.
Okay.
Read this.
Okay. Let me finish my video, Makai. You know.
I'm just gonna,
Okay. See, this is one of the challenges when I'm doing my video. Trying to get a video in, my children or my child interrupt me. But it's a good interruption. But back to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, whatever happened to imagination? And, you know, I told Mike, that's a really good question because many times we don't focus on our imagination, or we don't use our imaginations for whatever reasons. And I know as a child, we tend to use our imagination, or children tend to use their imagination more often than as adults, adults. But I would say that I wasn't really encouraged to use my imagination as a child. I really wasn't. And I just think I had a lot of distractions as a child. But as I got older, I began to realize that I have great imagination, and I began to realize that I was very creative. Though, or not that I was creative, that I am very creative. And I used to tell myself, I was like, wow, certain ideas would pop up and I'd be like, wow, I know I'm creative. Or when I had things to do, or when I was in college, I would always want to step outside the box or do something different than what everybody else was doing. I remember a time in my life when I used to work for this company back in 1999 that they had I was in charge of a event for the employees, and something came to me. I was in charge of doing the decorations, and so I wanted to do something very creative that they were not used to. And so what I did was I took a piece of construction paper, I cut out different shapes or sizes for the event. I forgot what the theme of the event was, but the thing was is that once I was done with the decorations, when the employees came in, because what I did was I punched a hole in the decorations and I hung them throughout the cafeteria. And so when the employees came in for the event, they were like, wow, you know, it gave them a different sense or a different feeling of coming into that event. It welcomed them into that event. But my whole point was is that I was creative for the event. But other than that, I knew that I was creative, and whatever I decide or whatever challenge I take upon, I like to step outside the box. I like to be different. Sometimes stand out from the crowd. I can't think of right now. I guess I didn't write any notes down for this video, but well, I have a couple of notes. I do have a couple of notes from earlier. But another thing about imagination is that recently, well, about 2 years ago, April 15, 2016 is when I realized, or that I noticed that when you actually use your imagination, or it's been really explained to me, because years ago I would use my imagination for different things, or I just think of something and it came true. And so the first couple of times I was like, okay, oh, that was just I was blessed with that, But then it came to the point where it began to happen quite often. So I did not attribute that to my thoughts. But what I learned was that when we use our imagination, or when we use our thoughts, we can use our thoughts and our emotions, and they can become our reality. And that's a fact. It's not something that's just not shared with people. But I just did not realize until recently. So I know that my imagination is very powerful because of my past experience, that I've been able to think of different things and they have happened. So what has happened to imagination? I think that we're encouraged to use our imagination as children, but that as adults, you're not really encouraged. So it's a matter of a person taking the initiative on their own to use their own imagination. And it's my goal to use my imagination to create the future, to create the life that I choose to live. And so right now I'm looking at a couple of more notes that I have. And then Mike, the guy who gives us our questions of the day, and he made a valid point. He said you don't have to have no permission to use your imagination, but many times people don't use it for their benefit. And what I mean by for their benefit is that we can use our imagination for our vision. We can use our imagination for our goals. And early in life, when I was going to college, I used my imagination to set my goals and for the vision for the ideas, or for the goals that I want to set for my life. But after I reached so many goals, I just like, okay, that's enough. But no, setting your goals is a continuous process throughout life. So, also Mike had mentioned, he said, we need to use the gifts that God has blessed us with. And that is, one is our imagination. Use our imagination. If you're not happy with the current situation that you're in, you have to use your imagination to change it to the reality that you want to live. And I will say that's what I did when I relocated from Michigan to California. I used my imagination. That I figured that if I can survive in Flint, Michigan, or that I could survive in Saginaw, Michigan, I definitely can survive in California. And I had never lived in California before, but I just imagined that I know I can survive. I've survived in my life in Michigan, so I had to step out on faith, use my imagination, and move to California. And so it's my goal now to use my imagination more. And the reason I say that, and I probably already said it, is to create the life that I desire to live. I'm grateful for the life I'm living now, and that is I'm living in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm using my imagination to focus on my vision, focus on my goals, and focus on the things that I desire. And so I have to give myself my permission to use my imagination and to actually tap into it. And because in the past, I just didn't focus on using my imagination for many things. I did in the beginning when I was going to college, but then after that, I got caught up in life. And many times we get caught up in life and have distractions to stray us away from our goals, or stray us away from our vision, and stray us away from what our desires are in life. But once you begin to use your imagination, you begin to realize that anything is possible. Instead of saying impossible, I tend to say now, I am possible. So let me see here. Then also in my notes here, I have it that imagination is our power. So it's my goal, it is my vision to begin to use my imagination, which I have been recently, on my journey, because my journey has not been easy, so to speak, but I'm not going to say it's hard either, you know, as long as I keep my faith in God, and I know that anything is possible. But at the same time, I'm beginning to use my imagination. So I know time is valuable, and I'll end this video on the fact that I hope everyone have a blessed evening. And I always say that never let anyone steal your joy. Thank you for watching. You have a blessed day. Bye-bye.